Slunda Amin. I first met Joko Widodo 4 years ago when he was the governor of Jakarta. Then again soon after he was elected president, and again the following year. Now he's taken me to Lake Toba, part of a big plan to boost the economy, make it one of the strongest in the world. This is Indonesia, Jokowi's vision.
Indonesia's President Joko Widodo has vowed to develop every inch of the Indonesian archipelago. Lake Toba in North Sumatra is one of 10 areas he's pinpointed for tourism investment. And that means infrastructure like airports and roads, including some of the 1,000 kilometers of national toll road he's promised. Adding to the challenge, the fact Indonesia sprawls across some 17,000 islands and is home to several live volcanoes, including Mount Sinabung, where people were recently rehoused after an eruption. To help achieve his ambitions for the Indonesian economy, Jokowi has implemented a raft of business reforms to investors. Over the next 30 minutes, we check in on the progress of his vision.
3 years into your presidency, do you think you have fulfilled your promise to bring growth and prosperity to this nation of 250 million people?
Ya, Indonesia kan negara besar dengan 250 juta.
Indonesia is a big country with a total population of 250 million people.
Tentu saja semua pemimpin ingin mensejahterakan rakyatnya.
We want, of course, all leaders would like to bring prosperity to the people.
Menurut saya bagus, di atas 5% lebih sedikit.
And our economic growth, I think it's good. It's slightly above 5%. A country of this size with such growth, I think it's good.
Problem terbesar sekarang adalah melambatnya ekonomi dunia. Ini problem terbesar kita, sehingga
But indeed, the biggest problem is slowing global growth, so the expansion of our exports is limited. And secondly, commodity prices are declining. So this is affecting economic growth in Indonesia a bit.
Sehingga ini sedikit mempengaruhi pertumbuhan ekonomi di Indonesia.
5% growth last year, slightly above 5% this year. That's the estimate. But when you came to power, you were targeting 7% growth. That seems to be elusive. Is it fair to say we can forget about 7% growth now? It's unrealistic.
Tadi kan sudah saya sampaikan karena ekonomi global yang baru turun.
I've said earlier, it's because of a global economy that's declining. However, we will keep pursuing it because what is economic growth related to? Expansion of jobs, improvement in people's income.
Memperbaiki income masyarakat. Saya kira kalau ekonomi dunia nanti akan beranjak
I'm sure when the global economy normalizes, improves, Indonesia's economy will grow as well because our markets will be bigger. That is our target.
Kita akan lebih membesar. Saya kira target kita ke sana.
When we last spoke 2 years ago, you wanted interest rates to fall. Your words, and fall again, you say. You cut rates, or the central bank cut rates 6 times last year and again in August. Are interest rates where you want them to be?
Ya, kita tidak bisa mengintervensi Bank Indonesia, Bank Sentral Indonesia, nggak bisa.
We cannot interfere with Bank Indonesia, Indonesia's central bank. So we can only see how we can ensure that inflation is at a low level. In 2015, our inflation was 3.35. In 2016, it was around 3.3 also. In 2017, it is still below 4. It means if inflation is low, the bank interest rate should be able to go down. But once again, that is not my territory. That is the territory of Bank Indonesia, the central bank.
Itu bukan wilayah saya, itu adalah wilayah Bank Indonesia, Bank Sentral.
But would you like rates to go lower than the 4.25% right now?
Yes, of course. As a former businessman, I would be happy if bank interest rates go down.
Senang kalau bunga bank turun. Semua
All businessmen are always happy if bank interest rates go down, down, down. Why? It means costs will continue to be lower and they can have better product competitiveness against other countries. Of course, everyone is happy. Businessmen are happy, there is business expansion. It means an expansion of the labor market. Why not?
The rupiah, pretty weak, and investors are concerned about the weakness. Should they be? Is that a reflection of how investors are not buying into the Indonesian growth story?
Indonesia melompat menjadi negara tujuan investasi dari 8 menuju ke 4.
Indonesia's jumped from 8th to 4th position as an investment destination, according to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development.
Sekarang meloncat dari nomor 8 ke nomor 4.
Secondly, our global competitiveness is also getting much better. Previously, we were 41st. This year, we jumped to 36th. It means every year we are always improving.
Tahun ini sudah meloncat ke 36.
Then, for ease of doing business, we moved from 120 to 106. Now we are in 91st place. We are always improving. What for? So the investment climate in Indonesia is getting better. Investors come because the investment climate is much better.
Iklim investasi di Indonesia semakin baik. Investor datang karena iklim investasi yang semakin baik.
Tapi Bapak, having said that, if you take a look at what's been happening, investors are concerned about the growth story, about the rupiah. What are they getting wrong?
Saya kira biasa ya kalau portofolio.
I think it's normal that portfolio investment comes and goes. The most important thing is that the composite index is rising. Take a look, it continues to rise.
Itu naik terus kok. Coba dilihat naik terus.
I'm still optimistic investors still see Indonesia as the best investment destination, one of the best choices.
Sebagai tujuan investasi yang terbaik.
Yet,
Salah satu pilihan yang terbaik.
yet companies like Ford, ExxonMobil, they're pulling out of Indonesia. DP World has said that it does not want to renew the contract because the contract is not working in its favor.
Itu tidak menunjukkan
That doesn't show whether Indonesia is a good investment destination or not.
Investasi atau tidak. Menurut saya
Mengapa, Pak?
itu
Why
ada.
aren't you worried that these big companies?
Iya, saya tahu. Ini kadang-kadang ada persoalan-persoalan yang di luar.
I know,
Kendali
sometimes
kita.
there are problems outside of our
Ya,
control.
bisa ekonomi
It could be the
dunia
global economy,
yang mungkin
or they want to see other
atau
countries that
mereka
may be more
ingin
profitable.
Melihat negara lain yang mungkin lebih menguntungkan.
Once again, we always try to improve our investment climate. And I'm still very optimistic that Indonesia is seen as one of the best investment
Bahwa
destinations.
Indonesia dilihat sebagai negara, salah satu negara tujuan terbaik investasi.
Which country?
Indonesia's Joko Widodo wants more visitors to enjoy Lake Toba's natural beauty. He tells us what's being done to make the area more accessible and to open up the nation to foreign investments.
So, Papa, why is Lake Toba so important to you?
It's my big dream. I want Lake Toba to be the new Bali in Indonesia.
Bali baru Indonesia.
Why? You already have a Bali.
Ya, karena kita memiliki potensi kawasan.
Because we have the potential of a very beautiful area. This should be developed into a new tourism destination.
Jadi destinasi pariwisata yang baru.
So it is one of 10 locations you've identified?
Iya, ini adalah satu dari 10.
Yes, this is one of the 10 new Balis that we're developing. We build the infrastructure, then we will increase promotion. We will also improve the cultural products here.
Tingkatkan produk-produk budaya yang ada di sini juga akan kita perbaiki.
You know, Papa, when I came here about maybe 7, 8 years ago, it took 6 hours by road. It was very difficult. So, when all your infrastructure is in place, how easy will it be to get here?
Sekarang kita sedang membangun airport. Runway-nya, terminalnya diperbesar.
We've built an airport, expanded the terminal. There were no planes serving here, but now there are 5 flights a day. We hope this will continue to grow because there are many tourists who visit Lake Toba.
Setiap hari. Kita harapkan ini akan terus bertambah karena banyak wisatawan yang datang ke Danau Toba.
Infrastructure is very important. And now, a flight from Medan to Lake Toba only takes 25 minutes. There's also a flight from Lake Toba to Jakarta.
Hanya 25 menit. Kemudian dari Toba ke Jakarta juga ada flightnya.
But it is a pretty ambitious, pretty big plan here, Papa, because you want tourism to account for about 20% of GDP. How soon can you get there?
Ya, paling tidak minimal 4
Well, for at least 4 to 5 years, we will continue to focus on improving, because beautiful places like this should be made use of. Likewise, the local culture should also be drawn upon to benefit the community.
Dimiliki mereka juga harus kita manfaatkan untuk kesejahteraan rakyat.
Is it difficult to make your dream a reality?
Dimulai dengan
Start with good infrastructure,
kemudian memperbaiki
then improve promotion,
promosinya.
and third, we will promote things related to the arts and culture.
Budaya kita terus akan kita angkat.
Ya, Indonesia ini kan apa?
Indonesia is a big country.
Semua pemimpin pasti ingin
All leaders must want to bring prosperity to the people.
Sejahtera. Saya kira visi besar
Our biggest
pertama
vision is
kita
to work
adalah
on the
fondasi.
foundation.
Ini penting
This is
sekali.
very important.
Mengejar
Upgrading the
ketertinggalan
infrastructure, fixing the infrastructure, and
memperbaiki
building
infrastruktur,
infrastructure.
membangun infrastruktur. Pada tahapan berikut, kita
In the
ingin
next stage, we want to
membangun
build our
sumber
human
daya
resources.
manusia.
That's the focus.
Fokus ke sana.
You've always maintained that you attract foreign investment. You want to open up the country to foreign investors. Yet some say that you've implemented protectionist policies. If you speak to the US trade officials, they will say that they're concerned about some of the policies implemented, especially the non-tariff measures imposed on agricultural products like corn.
Ya tentu saja kepentingan nasional Indonesia tetap harus dinomorsatukan.
Well, of course, Indonesia's national interests must remain the number one priority. But to say Indonesia is protectionist, it is not.
Investor-investor. Karena sudah saya sampaikan, kita ingin
I say Indonesia is open. Indonesia welcomes visitors. Because I have said that we want openness and competitiveness.
Jadi,
That's it.
Sudah banyak yang kita
So,
buka.
we have opened a lot to foreign investment from the negative list. We have opened, I think it's not 1, 2, or 3, but many. It shows that Indonesia is open.
Itu menunjukkan bahwa Indonesia terbuka.
What reforms can we expect over the next 2 years? What will be your priority?
Kita akan teruskan
Bagaimana? Which sectors?
Untuk memperbanyak sektor-sektor.
We will keep opening more sectors for foreigners to invest their capital, their investment in Indonesia.
Modalnya investasinya di Indonesia. Memang masih konsentrasi kita kepada
It is true that our concentration is still on those related to the manufacturing industry, film, and cinema.
Kemudian film dan bioskop, kenapa tidak?
Why not?
Kemudian creative industry.
Later, the creative industry.
Saya kira banyak sekali.
I think there are so many.
Dan
And what is also important is the issue of tourism and travel.
Tourism, pariwisata kita juga akan buka.
Which country is becoming important to Indonesia in terms of investment? Since you came to power, China has tripled its direct investment into Indonesia to the tune of about $2.7 billion. Is China becoming a very important partner for you?
Semuanya penting. Amerika penting.
All are important. America is important, Japan is important, China is important, South Korea is important, the Middle East is important, Europe is important, all of them. We welcome all countries. We are not prioritizing certain countries, no.
Prioritas kepada negara-negara tertentu tidak. Tetapi kita ingin memang sekarang ini lebih banyak yang industri padat karya.
But actually, what we want right now is investment in labor-intensive industry and making raw material into semi-finished products or finished products. That's our direction.
Pengolahan bahan mentah menjadi barang setengah jadi atau bahan jadi, arahnya ke sana.
Is there concern about the amount of Chinese money in the country? People like Pak Tanjung, Khairul Tanjung, has come out to say he's concerned about that. He's concerned about Chinese labor in the country.
Ya itu kan urusan bisnis dengan bisnis.
It's a business-to-business matter. Indonesian businessmen connect with Japanese businessmen, Indonesian businessmen with Chinese businessmen, Indonesian businessmen with Middle East businessmen. Why not? Go ahead. They will make their calculations, and if it's profitable, they will surely come.
Yang menguntungkan pasti akan datang.
It's a nation of more than 200 million Muslims. Indonesian President Joko Widodo talks to us about the role of Islam and politics. And as rivals look ahead to the 2019 presidential elections, we ask Jokowi if he's planning to run again.
One of the issues that recently cropped up is the religious intolerance. One of the latest reports suggests that there's been an increase of 50% when it comes to religious intolerance. Is that something that keeps you up at night?
Dalam angka-angka seperti itu saya kira
No, I think those figures need to be seen in more detail. Because Islam in Indonesia is a tolerant Islam, a pluralist Islam, a modern Islam.
Pluralis. Islam yang modern. Saya kira
I think people should see that there will be small problems. I think a country the size of Indonesia, with a total population of 250 million people, 17,000 islands, 714 ethnic groups, it's a huge country.
714 ethnic group. Negara besar.
But yet, Pak, despite the fact that moderate Islam is in Indonesia's DNA, we saw religion play a big part in the Jakarta elections. Surely, it must be a concern. Surely it's something you need to look at.
Itu bukan urusan agama.
That's not a religious issue. It was a political issue. It's different. The issue in the Jakarta governor election was an issue of politics, not an issue of religion. Islam in Indonesia is a tolerant Islam, a pluralistic Islam, a modern Islam, a moderate Islam.
Islam yang moderat.
There have been suggestions here, Pak, that perhaps the pesantren or the religious schools may be producing some of those people who end up going to Syria, for instance, to join the Islamic State. And if you take a look at the data, at statistics, there are about 1,000 of them and 500 have gone to Syria to fight for Islamic State. What are your views on that?
Penduduk Muslim di Indonesia itu 200. Kira-kira 200.
The Muslim population in Indonesia is approximately 220 million. If some 400 people go to Syria, that's only how many percent? Not even 0.0001%. Out of the 220 million Muslims in Indonesia, it's fractional.
Dari 220 juta penduduk Muslim Indonesia.
It only takes one person to cause devastation, ya Pak?
Ya kita, meskipun satu, meskipun dua, itu juga penting untuk.
Even though it's only one or two people, it is still important for us to do what we call a de-radicalization program.
Kita berikan pemahaman nilai-nilai agama yang benar.
We give a good understanding of true religious values. We give them a good understanding of the national
Saya
values.
kira pendekatan kita
Our approach
untuk
is
masalah
hard
ini
power
kita
with
memiliki
legal
pendekatan
enforcement
hard
and
power.
laws.
Dengan penegakan hukum, dengan legislasi.
We also have
Kita
soft
juga
power
punya
with a
pendekatan
religious,
soft
socio-cultural
power
approach. We will
Dengan
continue
pendekatan
doing it.
agama, dengan pendekatan sosial budaya, saya kira akan terus kita lakukan.
So you don't see a risk of those returning from Syria, no risk to Indonesia, no risk to Southeast Asia?
Menurut saya tidak.
I think no.
So we can sleep well at night, ya Pak?
Silakan tidur.
Please do sleep well.
Are you taking steps, though, Pak, to ensure that the risk is eradicated? How are you ensuring?
Ya karena kita melakukan.
We are implementing de-radicalization programs.
Deradikalisasi.
We also have a hard and soft power approach. Both paths go hand in hand.
Dua-duanya berjalan beriring.
We have clear programs.
Kita memiliki program yang jelas.
What role do you see Indonesia playing in 5-10 years down the road, given that it is one of the largest, it's the largest economy in Southeast Asia, one of the largest in Asia?
Ya kalau kita apa yang sudah kita kerjakan tadi,
Yes,
infrastruktur,
if the
pembangunan
aforementioned
sumber
development of
manusia itu
infrastructure and
bisa
human
bekerja
resources
dan
can be
selesai
completed
dengan
well,
baik, saya kira baru kita
I think that's when Indonesia can play a role in ASEAN,
peranan
Asia, and the
Indonesia,
world.
baik di ASEAN, baik di Asia, dan baik di dunia. Saya kira
My
konsentrasi
concentration
saya
is currently still
baru
on
konsentrasi
domestic
di
issues
domestik
to
di
fix
dalam
and
negeri.
improve.
Untuk memperbaiki, membenahi, memperbaiki.
3 years into your presidency, 2 years to go, are you planning to run for the next election?
Saya sekarang ini baru konsentrasi pada pekerjaan.
I am now just concentrating on the
Ada
job,
tugas-tugas yang
on the
diberikan
tasks the
rakyat
people have
kepada
entrusted
saya.
me to do.
Mengawasi
Monitoring infrastructure, controlling infrastructure, checking the Indonesia Health Card, checking the Indonesia Smart Card, checking the Family Hope Program, and checking rural funds. They must be checked, must be controlled.
Mengenai
Regarding the upcoming presidential
pemilihan
election,
presiden yang
I'll
akan
leave it to the
datang,
people.
ya, saya serahkan pada masyarakat.
Isn't it true, though, given the massive challenges you're facing right now and the massive projects you'd like to implement, another 5 years wouldn't hurt?
Ya kalau kalau saya tetap pada
If I stay in the
posisi
position
bekerja
of working as
sesuai
planned,
yang kita
I will focus on
rencanakan,
that.
fokus bekerja di sana.
We expect the programs to be completed.
Program itu selesai. Tapi
But
kalau
if they are not
tidak selesai,
finished,
mestinya
the
bisa
programs can be continued in the
diteruskan.
next period by whomever the
Pada
ministers are.
Periode berikut oleh siapapun menterinya.
What do you think has been your biggest achievement and your biggest disappointment?
Yang pertama, mengalihkan subsidi.
Firstly, switching subsidies from petrol to
Dari
productive sectors such as infrastructure,
subsidi,
education programs,
BBM
health
kepada
programs, and disadvantaged
subsidi
families.
Sektor-sektor yang produktif.
That's
Ke
the first thing.
infrastruktur, ke program pendidikan, ke program kesehatan, ke program keluarga prasejahtera.
Secondly, tax
pertama.
amnesty.
Yang kedua, tax amnesty. Tax amnesty ini bisa
In this, tax amnesty declaration was reported
terjadi
around $370
deklarasi
billion
kurang
US
lebih
dollars.
370 miliar US.
That's a very big number. It's around 38% of our
Ini adalah
GDP.
sebuah angka yang sangat besar. Itu
So
kurang
we
lebih
hope that later our tax base
38%
can be bigger.
dari GDP kita. Sehingga kita harapkan nantinya tax base kita menjadi lebih besar.
In terms of political challenges, what are the biggest ones for you?
Ya sekarang ini kan semua partai
Right now, all
memang
parties are concentrated on the upcoming 2019 presidential election.
untuk pemilihan presiden 2019. Ya silakan.
Well, go ahead. For me, I will be
Saya-
concentrating on work.
Saya tetap akan konsentrasi bekerja.
Been a pleasure, sir. Thank you. Terima kasih, Pak.
Terima kasih, Belinda. Terima kasih.